whole story about human creation. From my perspective, I think it is in pieces and it is not complete. I don't know
Okay.
what of your comments.
Well, me personally, I don't have much information rather than
Yep.
a lot of questions surrounding it. Like you said, the way it's told in the Bible, I have a lot of holes that have not been filled. So, personally, I'm interested to hear what you have to say or add to what I've known you to say about creation, about humankind creation. Maybe you can talk about creation of everything because I know that we did mention that man or humans were created by other higher beings known as the Anunnaki. But again, the question there is, what about the animals and the plants and everything else in creation? I'm very interested to hear, what your perspective is or what you have to say about it. So again, me personally, I have a lot of questions about it.
Yeah, that is a that's great, my brother. And I think we are going to, as we continue these discussions, we are going to even ask ourselves these questions and try to get answers as we
Okay.
are moving on in this talk. And for me, where I will want to start, I would like to start from I want to start from the creation stories, all creation stories of the religious ones, the Islam creation story and the Bible creation story.
Okay.
You know, yeah, like if I start with the book of Genesis, the whole story about creation. It's
Uh-huh.
about when we go from the first statement, in the beginning, the whole story about creation that in the beginning God created heavens and the earth. That part alone. In the beginning, God created heavens and the earth. And when it continues by saying that, and the earth became void, and the earth became void, or it became desolate. So this clearly means that between those two sentences, in the beginning, God created the heavens and earth. Then there is a gap somewhere there, and the world and the earth became desolate. It became void. The reason why I'm saying there is a gap in between there is because if God created heavens and the earth, it cannot. God cannot in that state of in that process of creation of the heavens and the earth. Therefore, God did not create something which is desolate or void. It meant that, and because it says, and the earth became void or desolate, meaning there is a gap here in the between. And the actually, if we take reference to ancient texts, we will notice that there have been many forms of catalysm in this planet. Like life has gone into extinction more than 4 or 5 times, and life was rebooted again. And so this first story of in the beginning, God created the heavens and earth. It is another yet story of it's like it's let's take this part, put it, label it writer number one. And then there was this one, now the one which that instance where it became the earth became void. And the Spirit of God was hovering all over the planet. The ancient Hebrews or the original Hebrews Bible, up to today, that which exists, it does not say the Spirit of God was hovering. The Hebrews Bible does not say, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the planet. It says, it refers to what was hovering around the planet as Ruha. Ruha. I don't know how it's written, but they call it Ruha. Ruha is a mechanical thing. It produces sound and smoke, like it has an engine. That is what Ruha is, or ancient Hebrews Bible. And then when you now this one, this now let us label it as writer number two. And to support this writer number two, we fast forward to Genesis. I think Genesis is it 22 or 20? I don't know. Not sure, but where God, after he finished creating Adam and Eve, this is what he said. He told them to go and repopulate. Repopulate. Meaning that there was a population which was there, which became instinct, and the earth became void. Go and repopulate the planet. And now we go back again. I don't know if it is forward or backward, but where God created Eve out of Adam, from the ribs of Adam. I told you there are 4 human root races that existed on this planet. They either ascended or during the disasters they became extinct, but most of them had technologies and maybe they went to other planets or whatever, or under the planet. But there is another writing of there was a race, it was called the race of Lemurians. The race of Lemurians was a race of hermaphrodites where every being had all sexes intertwined together, inbuilt. And that story says that it's like that time when these higher beings who came to earth, they decided to separate the genders from that root race. And this Adam, removing the rib of Adam to create Eve, is not a story of one being. It was a whole root race. And these stories there, and these creation stories or myths, they are from the ancient, because you will find like the book of Genesis. It has copied from the Babylonian text, the Babylonian epic of creation, which is called Enmaelish. It has copied from a red Genesis of the Mayans. It has copied even from the ancient Aztec teachings. The whole story of let us make man, because the other ancient texts actually they speak from the time when these higher beings came to this planet, and it was like here in Africa we had that creation myth. It's called the myth of what Mami Waters. Mami Waters. It's the myth of Mami Waters. It's an African myth of beings interacting, coming down, and creating other beings out of the existing ones. Let us go down. Now, let us create man in our own image. If you look in the Sumerian text, it says, "Let us form man in our image, like us, so that they will serve us of our needs, our food, and blah 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 and blah blah blah." That's what it says. Actually, these writings are ancient, which predates the Bible by 100 of years ago. The same Genesis, which has the Noah's flood story, it has we have an ancient writing which predates the Bible by hundreds of thousands of years, and it's called Enuma Elish. It's another epic of of creation, where the leader here, this side, is called Marduk. But in the other epic of creations in Sumerian texts, they have given them other names. The Greeks creation stories, they have given them another name. They call them Zeus and whatnot. Every ancient society gave them names depending on that time, depending on their time of existence. And for us, our generation is generation of the religious texts which we have. The same stories have been copied and brought in the Bible and in our religious texts. But for us, we have also branded the characters with different names. Because the ancients, they did not address Elohim as the one God, one creator God. The Sumerians, Elohim meant the powerful ones. Actually, the word Elohim means the powerful ones. Not one person, powerful ones who from heavens came. That's the meaning of word Elohim. So in our generation, this fourth human race, this is our generation, and this is how we have defined creation according into the generation we are into. Because everything evolves, writings evolve. Like what we called in past, what we called demons, they became aliens. Now they became negative entities. Everything evolves. Every time a name is given depending to that energy of that particular time. And Brother Kamau, you asked something about this Sumerian creation epic. I read Genesis. This creation story actually speaks of the Anunnaki, and many people will take the Anunnaki to be one kind of race, maybe aliens from this kind of planet, or the other kind of type of galaxy, or very far away, one type of race. The Anunnaki, the word Anunnaki means, Elohim means those who came, Elohim means the powerful ones. Anunnaki means those who from heavens came. Those who from heavens came is what Anunnaki means. But many people have taken that to be one type of beings. Anunnaki were different races. What we call as Anunnaki are different races who came to participate in evolving the human in a genetic way. They are many races. And one thing people do not know is that each and every kind of race in their planet, what you call as reptilians, what you call as the greys, this is how it is. When you go to that planet, they look alike, all of them. There is no white, gray, Indian, gray, black, gray. They will, all planets of all other races, they have only, they look the same. Now, because the Anunnaki were the power, those who came from heavens, and they actually most of the people say that they came here to create the slave race. But for me myself, this is what I think. This whole thing of creation is something which we are also learning, and we are going to seed other planets, and we are going to participate in things like this to evolve other lower beings of other planets by tracking their DNA, upgrading their DNA with ours. I think this is what these guys were doing. And because there were many races, and these many races landed everywhere around the earth, that's why humanity, we have different races. And even these races, in these races, our races, there are sub-races. Because Asians, you cannot call the brown race, Indians, Chinese, and Russians as, because it's Asia, and we call them as all the brown race, because they also look different. Within the race, there were also sub-races, meaning that these beings came and maybe seeded their DNAs, and when they left, other beings again also came, and in those which have been seeded with other DNA templates, they seeded with their templates too. That's why even the races have got sub-races here on this planet Earth, because not all Africans look the same. Not all. They are very different. So this whole Anunnaki thing is beings of higher dimensions, and even the original scriptures, the original book of Genesis does not talk anything, does not talk about anything concerning it. I mean, it does not mention God. The initial and original book of Genesis, which of this is of this generation, does not mention anything of God, the one infinite creator coming, and it mentions of deities, sons of gods, and gods. It was all about gods, sons of gods, all about that. But it, when there became, do you know, there were ancient Bibles, but all of them were just like stepped on, and then there was only one authorized version called the King James Version, and it was clearly indicated authorized version, because immediately King James came, all other Bibles were invalid. They became invalid. The reason why it is written authorized Bible, even in Europe itself, when you were seen reading the older versions of the Bible, you sleep headless tonight. Everyone was supposed to read the authorized version. And many people were killed because of reading the unauthorized old versions, the original versions. So, meaning the King James Version. And what came forth, there were things removed there or changed. And actually, I think the companion Bible of 1610, the one which I shared with you, Sheila, that companion Bible, in the footnotes, just read it carefully. The book of Genesis, in the footnotes, it tells you the truth. Hey, you, this small number 2 here, which you see here, it means this. You will see. It was about many, groups, and we, and us. Let us create man in our own image. Now that man has become like one of us. Let us go down and confuse their languages. The Quran says, we formed man. We created jinns out of flames of fire. We, us. The whole story about creation was about we and us. It is a collective. It is this thing, the whole story of creation is a collective experiment of higher beings, which we will know, and others which we will not know. And like today in the group, I was saying this, that we humans of Earth, we will always, if we want to build a tower, a skyscraper that touches the cloud, what we will do, we will pay an engineer, contractor, and pay for everything, and wait for our skyscraper to be ready. Yours is to facilitate. But we cannot. For us, we can be bosses, but we cannot make God one infinite creator. We cannot even say that he was the boss, that he had higher beings that are in charge of terraforming planets, that are in charge of seeding consciousness, that are in charge of seeding each type of life, that are in charge of the magnetics of the planet, that are in charge of management of the solar system, that are in charge of the galaxy, that are in charge of the the cosmos, and God just being there as a supervisor or someone just watching his work being done. And as much as we do not want to believe that, and we think that God came here personally and made everything for himself, if we believe that, is allowed, but is a primitive way of thinking. We are always damning God. I always say this, we are damning God. God is not dumb. We are always damning God. That God can be this or God can be that. And the things which we ourselves we can do or we cannot do, we always give to God that he can do that. Like God, he's a man, he wants to build a skyscraper. He comes himself with his tools and start building. Because in physical realm, in physicality, a man will build. In physicality, a man will just be the one on top and pay for everything and just see it how it goes on. But God cannot be that. He has to come and build everything with his own hands. That is how we are damning God. That God cannot do this. He can't just put people in charge of doing this and do it for him, unless he does it himself. Like God, God cannot. This God, like us, we humans, we cannot even burn the tip of the finger of our babies. But this God, he's capable of doing that. He will burn every of his children. This is how we are damning God. And the grander truth is that creation of the planets, of the solar system, there are beings of higher dimensions or densities who are in charge of doing that. There are those who terraform planets, and there are those who come to seed life. Number one. There are those who are in charge of the magnetics of the solar system, because the whole solar system is held intact with magnetics. This is science, and it has to be maintained and upgraded. That's why when people say we are moving in the other area of the galaxy or of the universe with higher energies, the magnetic have to be calibrated. There are beings in charge of that. There are beings in charge of what we call the sun. Because what we call as the sun, not this one, not the one which we see, the sun which we see is just a projection. No one is seeing anything outside this planet. And yes, it could be the sun with the transmuting the same energies, but it is not that. It is a projection. No one sees what is going on outside this planet. No one. Even the stars, they are all projections in perfect alignment that guides even the cycles. This is very high state of science. Projecting something, and that projection can guide you in all cycles forever and ever. That is what happens. The sun is there, and this sun is not hot. Even what we see up there is not hot. What is making everything hot is our atmosphere. Anything that passes our atmosphere burns and produces light. When a comet or a debris falls into Earth's atmosphere, it burns and we see light. So frequencies, atoms, when they pass through our atmosphere. That is why that is when we experience light and heat. But the sun itself, it has beings. It has beings. Things which you have not been taught is that the whole solar system is populated. The whole solar system is full of life and is full of civilizations, the whole solar system. And what we are seeing right now, we are seeing the 9 planets plus the other new planet called planet Ceres, which they found it recently. We are discovering, or we know of the planets and starting discovering more, because many of other planets which we cannot perceive, they are in higher densities. And not unless, as a collective, we raise in consciousness and vibrate in higher frequencies, we will be able to perceive them all. We will be able to perceive them all. This solar system has got 38 planets. This solar system has got 38 planets. The reason why we can't see them is because they are not in our current plane of density. What we are perceiving are only the 9 planets which are of third density. All what we are able to perceive in the solar system is in third density. Immediately the planet shifts to fourth density, we will be perceiving extra planets. The reason why scientists are discovering new planets right now is because the planet is in the season of Acsesion, in the shift, moving to the next density. Now you start discovering things of higher densities. So there are beings in charge of everything, and these beings who are in charge of everything have hierarchies. You know, the Bible always tells you, points truth to people to ponder upon them, but people always take things lightly. As above, so below. As above, people, as above, so below. The hierarchies which you are seeing here, from your villages to your government to your international organizations, the hierarchies which you see here, they exist in grander scales, in galactic scales, in universal scales. People, slave trade exists up to now here. It does not exist only here. It is a booming galactic business. Slave trade is a booming galactic business. Millions and millions and millions and millions of humans have been sold in galactic slave trade. As above, so below, they are all hierarchies. They are those who are in charge of the solar system. And this is when the Anunnaki, they were not one race, there were many races. They were given caretakership of this solar system. Caretakership of this solar system. And it was a group. And the problem is that they participated in this. This is an experiment. The whole creation story is just an experiment. an experiment like let us say we galactic, like we are galactic races of this galaxy, Milky Way galaxy. Let us have some. Let us create a DNA storage somewhere where we can store our DNAs, our galaxy, all races of the galaxy coming together and saying, let us create a living library where a race can refer to when they get involved technologically and destroy their DNA, because this has happened. It happened before they started creating this planet. It happened before. It happened. Many races have become extinct, no more, in galactic scale because of technology, and they destroyed their DNA. That's why a race to move to a higher density, they have to evolve. When they are evolving technologically, it has to go hand in hand spiritually. Otherwise, if you raise without balance technologically, you are in a verge of self extinction. So, this is what they did. Let us create a living library. And this living library, in able for it to come forth, creation comes from one thing. It comes out of love, which is that essence of that essence, and that it is that one infinite creator. So there were those beings in galactic beings of higher dimensions who are in charge of terraforming the planet, and those who came to seed consciousness. And then they came waves and waves of those who came to plant their DNAs here in this galaxy. And that brings me, or that takes me to the question which Kamau asked. If the Anunnaki created the humans, who created the animal, birds, fish, and everything? It brings me to this question, because here is where the answer comes. This is a galactic DNA library, living library, galactic living library. Each and every species of insect you see, animal you see, bird you see, creatures of sea and oceans you see, all form of creatures you see moving upon this planet, they have one of their own in higher densities and dimensions. They are insectoids. The reptiles we have here is what we call the reptilians. What we call the dracos is what the dragons are. They are what we call the Ra collective. They are the bird race, and they were depicted even in the monolith and even in the writing. Those beings whose heads are of birds. They are the Ra collective. Every creature you see here has one of their own. They are insectoids. They are, let alone insectoids. Even the millipedes, the scorpions, there is a scorpion races. They are races, they are fire beings. They are beings of air and beings of water in higher dimensions and density. Everything you see here is above. As above, so below. What is within the planet is without. As within, so without. This is what this planet is. And when they wanted to create that, they came up with yet another magnificent plan. They said, let us, these guys, they have their own spirit. They hire these people. Do not even try to perceive any that there's something impossible. When when I say something, you think it is impossible because of our third density perception. There are beings who know that they can tap. There is a way they can tap technologically to this one infinite creator and spiritual, and tap some tincture or some spark of that, some spark of that, and put it somewhere. And this is what they did. They tapped something from that infinite love, that light, that purity. They tapped that thing. And when they wanted to create this living library, they said, because that thing is infinite, let us put it in this experiment so that it will be infinite forever and ever, so that we can refer to it in infinite. And to grow that infinity in that creation, they wanted it to be infinite. They had to make it be able to expand, to learn, and to grow out of its own learning. And they brought this thing called emotion. It came with that spark. When they put that spark of God, it came forth with emotion, because the emotional part is the spiritual part of us. And they gave this creation free will, because they wanted to expand out of learning from free will, from picking this and knowing that it is not this, then it chooses that. Knowing that it is that, it is already in another level of expansion. And this is what creation, the universe is, the continuous process of creation. And this is at the same time is what we are being groomed for, to seed and create. This is an angelic race. This planet, it is the only planet with creatures containing free will and emotions. The reason even why the negative entities will want to possess any entities, the humans here, to possess humans here, is because they want to feel that experience, the godly experience, which even the higher density beings, those who put this thing in us, lack. We are the only planet with beings that they can tap directly to the one infinite creator and becoming like that in a spark. Only all other races, which we say they are angelic races, which they were bred in one path. Those which are demons, which their negative path, they were bred for that purpose, in that path, without free will, emotion being that, so that light and darkness can form, they can be balanced. We are, I can tell you, we are the only. We have 12 planets of living libraries, but this planet is the only planet of the 12 living libraries in the universe. In the universe, 12 living libraries in the universe that has got that direct connection and direct spark or direct portal to the one infinite creator, which is ever expanding and ever knowing this creation. It is a God. For the truth is that even the angelic beings, you can call them aliens, you can call them angelic beings, higher beings, even the negative ones, demons, whatever people call them, they have no firm knowledge or firm knowing of who or what this one infinite creator is. To them, the one infinite creator is a mystery. All higher angelic beings of highest dimensions we know. To them, God is a mystery, unknown. The mystery is only unfolding when beings are moving from one density and dimension to another. The higher they go, the more they experience this one infinite creator. It is infinite. People get to move to higher and higher dimensions, infinite numbers of dimensions. There are 8 densities, but there are infinite dimensions. The higher you go, the higher experience God. That is how a mystery God is. Is not a being, is not an entity. It has no definition. As the way I'm trying to describe it right now, I'm just lying to you. So this planet, when that moment when everyone seeded their DNAs here and life evolved, this is what happened. Not all these races are positive, are of light, number one. Number two, not all the races that were positive that time are still in the positive. They split into parts and others came in and added some parts of their own in us again so that they can have firm control. So there were agendas involved. Agendas came into existence. Different beings came with different agendas. Different beings wanted their strands to be more so that they can be connected with us. The reason being that we have the direct portal to the infinite creator. People, what we have been told of what this creation is and what man is nothing. Nothing has been told. The truth of what man is has never been taught, has never been told. The reason why all galactic races came here after they put the spark, came here and put many strands we don't know how, cannot perceive, is because they are connected to us. No, human is 47%. 47% human is reptilian. 47% human is reptilian. Your original first ever creation that was put here was of reptiles. And out of reptiles, out of DNA, putting me, I put mine, me, I put mine, there comes, they put there, they put there. This is where we have reached. 47% of human is reptilian. That's why I tell people to experience the kingdom of God, walk with one knowing that everything is God. Immediately you point a finger to something else, you have pointed it to yourself. Because all is God. Even those negative side, they are there because of balance. They are there for the purpose of evolution. Evolution cannot go on without darkness. If there was just light and darkness not being there, then it will be just that where it started that time. In the beginning, there was God, and God said, "Let there be light," and that will be the end of story. No more. We could not be existing or speaking right now because all what made this light expand forth in creation is because of darkness, knowing what it is not and becoming to what it is. That step, one step, experiencing what it is not and jumping to other step, knowing what it is and breaking forth creation. This is what universe is: creation in two parts, balancing and expanding from one source of love. So the whole story about creation is a grander thing which many people do not know. And the reason why this race has a lot of attention has been put onto this race is because it's an angelic race. When they were doing that, bringing that spark, they were doing that because they wanted us that when we jump to the next density, we become angelic beings, those beings who will be holding the galaxy. We are the ones who are going to be holding this galaxy in order. From whatever planet we will have, whatever location our planet will have ascended, but we will be able to hold the galaxy in balance, just as a collective. This is the other purpose why this creation was made as a library, and they put the spark there and they put their DNAs there. We'll be able, like, to put, if they are chaos, we just bring balance. And there were agendas involved because those stories of war in heavens, they were not wars of people wanting to fight wars. All wars in heavens were being fought. People were fighting over ownership of this planet. After everyone contributed, then there came others who said, no, this is ours. Our percentage there is the greatest. We own it. We control it. Wars have been fought. Galactic wars, these are the wars in heaven. They were not fighting because of something else. They were fighting because of planet Earth. The wars in heaven are wars of planet Earth. And this is even the wars of light and darkness right now, this moment, in higher realms. They want to take ownership, which each side is fighting on their side, putting on their side. If they gain ownership, it works for this planet, will work for their highest good. They will become powerful. That is how powerful this experiment is. And right now, when we are hearing everywhere that the energies now are high, the energies are accelerating. It's not coming from somewhere else. It is the beings of light, those who are pushing ascension to their favor. It's them. They are projecting, actually, what I know, they are projecting higher energies of light, and the darkness, the side of darkness too, they are projecting their own vibrations of darkness. The war between light and darkness. This is the war. This war is not of earth. It is a universal war. It is a universal war because of a dot. When you take these grains of sand of whole planet, of the whole planet Earth, all grains of sand, then take a single grain of sand. Now, this single grain of sand, put it aside, and then out of all the grains of sand of the planet Earth, this is there is war, but that war is because of that one dot of grain of sand. Like how we are pushing the balances on this planet, how we as humans are maneuvering the whole thing of light and darkness, how we are pushing our ascension process. It's like whatever we are doing here is affecting all other realms. Whatever we are trying to work upon ourselves here, raising our vibrations, we raise something somewhere. Like everything up there depends on this one grain of sand. That's why I say the grander truth of what man is has never been told. Like we are the center, that center of the universe. The whole balance of the universe is dependent of this one point. There is much grander thing which has never been taught about what human is. It has never been taught. This only needs you or yourself to continue going deep within and getting these kinds of revelations, asking questions within. It's when you get the grander perspectives of what this place is. Only seeking that deeper knowledge from within, you get to know everything. But the whole stories of creation, either is it was the Mayan texts, if it was the Babylonian text of creation, if it's the Sumerian Eridu Genesis, if it's the Bible, it's the Quran, it's the Hindu creation story, it's the Buddhist creation story. Let me tell you, it is just interpretation on the primitive third density perception of what creation is. Every other culture is just describing on their own cultural, higher cultural perspective and perception. It does not define the grander truth which is above our own physical perception, which is written somewhere we can see, because anything which you can see and you can touch is of physicality. The grander truth of this place cannot be perceived with third density perceptions. Never. Either people take it or not, it can never be perceived by our physical rudimentary perception. We are just going to define that with myths. All those are myths, and yes, they will be talking this, making slaves that, making them this, and then this one they were fighting this, and this one are fighting this. These two brothers were Enlil and Enki, and blah 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 and blah 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 and blah blah. We create different stories projecting that this was bad, this was good, this was bad, this is physical perceptions, physical mind. This is good, this is bad. That pure essence, that spark of God, that Christ, that spirit is not biased. It knows that all is God, all is itself. So no matter how much we are trying to talk about the creation story, it has the creation story has got everything. It has grander purposes. It has agendas embedded within it, which we do not know. It has everything. This place. It has everything. And no one can perceive these things until we get above these third density perceptions, rise above that, and yet more above is when we can see it from outside, rising above. We can see what is within this whole thing, this ball, this marble or the whatever. We can see what is within, and yet that which is within can only be perceived if you rise above this density, but through only one portal, going back deep within oneself and seeking from within. That is when you rise to above the third density perception, and then you see this thing in another angle, and you see what is here, and you see everything, and you know that everything is God, everything is just is playing its part in a perfect order, just a process of existence, a process of beingness, a process of God, because the universe did only one thing. The universe came to being, and existence came forth. So I stopped there. And a few questions, a few discussions. Sheila, Kamau.
Yes, I'm here, brother. And again, thank you for the information and the lessons. A few observations there that, I guess for clarity. So you're saying that uh, the higher beings came down and stored their DNA on Earth, and that there is each of what we see on Earth, there's a higher being somewhere out there, whether it's the humans, which are mixed up with different beings, animals, and also plants. I know you didn't mention plants, but I'm asking, is
Yes, of
there
course.
also so?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay,
of course.
all right, all right. The other observation was you say that the sun and I'm also assuming the moon are projections of some sort. And
Yes,
now the question is, uh, what's the purpose or who created these projections? And as we know that they affect or they affect different ways of life, whether it's the sun and life, like the plants can live without the sun, or even us, we cannot survive without the sun. Uh, I mean, I guess the question I'm asking is, uh, did a particular of these beings put this projection in place to support the life down here? And also, for instance, uh, were they also responsible of creating art itself, or like the elements of art that makes everything that's down here, whether it's the soil or the minerals or oxygen or water, or how did that come about, or was the infinite creator who created that part? Those are the questions that I have right now.
Yes, that is it's a very, 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 very good and very important question. No, it is in asking the right questions where right answers always comes forth. One thing, I told you that first we said that this place is like a DNA library, and because man has never been told who he is, this is what happened. This is what happens. Every soul that is in this planet has been first. First, it has to experience the first density. You understand? First density. First density is the density of minerals. It's fire, water, elements, minerals. That is the first density. Air. Each soul has to experience the first density. Everything. It has to experience everything. And then this soul has to to move to the next density or graduate to the next density, which is the density of plants, animals, ants, birds, all creatures, flying, crawling, all of them. This is second density. What goes on is that every soul must be each and every species of ant, each and every species of animal, each and every species of everything, and each and every species of plant, flowers, each species. And because right now you are in the third density, be sure this is 100%. You passed through second density. Otherwise, you could not be in this third density. You pass through those. The reason why you pass through those, I told you, everything has got one of their own. The reason why you pass through being an animal is because they are in second density. You have to experience that. When you come to third density, you have been an animal. You are connected. You are connected to that animal because there are other species which they there are other races which did not put their DNA strands directly into human. What did they where did they put the tapping wire? They placed the tapping wire at the soul level, not at the physical level. Others tapped the soul level, others directly. Those who tap directly are the ones who are humanoids. Like us, but different funny features or different looking, but they are humanoids. They tap direct. Those which are not humanoids, they tapped through the soul level. The soul experiences to be that. So I said, you asked about who created the elements, minerals, and there is higher dimensional beings These ones are like, if their presence appear in this planet, everyone, even the spiritual guys, everyone will know God, the one creator, has come, but is not the one creator. These guys are in charge. They are in charge of terraforming planets. Terraforming planets is creating the planets without life first. The elements, water, earth, terraforming. And there is a confusion between this word Elohim because it has been used in many instances. Because this is one of the instances which it says that the Elohims, there are higher beings who are known as the Elohims. They are not even in our dimensions right now. People, what those who terraformed this planet are not in our realities of dimensions, rather they are in very, very far dimensions. Because one thing we have to know, what we call as universe is not the totality of what God is. This universe, there are infinite numbers of universe moving around. Moving around. That universe is moving around in another yet, like the galaxy is moving. The universe is galaxy. Is galaxies moving around one central sun. That is the universe. And galaxy is solar system moving in around one central sun. And solar system is planets moving around one central sun. And the universe is among other many universes, infinite universes, moving around one central sun. This become a grand universe. And this grand universe, it has other infinite, yet again, moving around one central sun. It goes on infinite to infinite. That is why God is a mystery. And one thing, our universe, I said, we have not reached those in the higher, even in the grander universes. To them, God is a mystery. And we are in this universe. And one thing is that we all beings, the beings in this one universe, they haven't even finished and like discovering the mysteries of this universe. Still is this process of expansion, meaning that still there is more to learn, and that expansion is infinite. So the Elohim are not in this, like they are not in this universe. But the name Elohim was also hijacked because the Elohim came in two waves. There is another wave of Elohims called the Beno Elohims. Those who came with a rule. The Elohims who terraformed were here to terraform. And that was that, and they left. And then came other beings from the fourth and fifth density, what we call the Pleiadians. They came and seeded consciousness. Consciousness is like connecting the whole place with the presence of the one infinite creator. And therefore the minerals got consciousness. Everything became consciousness because it was seeded with consciousness. And then life was seeded. From other life, from other place, they say that you guys from the other planet put that one reptile there. Okay, everyone contribute. This is an experiment. Put. Agendas are danger. Agendas are danger. Benevolence reasons. This is what it has brought us to. I don't know if I answered you, my brother Kamang.
Yes, you did. But you didn't mention or you didn't touch on the sun. I mean, the sun and the moon being the projections.
Okay, let me speak about the sun and the moon. First of all, this planet, no matter what people call it, some will say it is round, some will say it is flat. But for me, I will say it doesn't have any form. The planet does not have any form. It is in existence. Number one. Number two, this dome. I mean, this planet. It seems like something wrong in the midst of that experiment. Something went wrong, and it had to be veiled. It had to be veiled, like it became like a separate place, like a quarantine or an incubator, and it became that after there was because when people seeded their DNAs here, there is always a law of non-interference. Non-interference, evolution is supposed to evolve with free will. To evolve with free will. But this one was interfered with, because we can see even our religious books. You are given free will, but you are given 10 things to do and 10 things not to do. This is the interference which was made this place to be veiled. There were many times back there. This place had no moon, and it was not very far. Like in the 1400s, 1200s, 1300s, this planet had no moon, had no projection of what you call the moon. It had no this. And there is a book which was written and been handed over generations. It is there. Google it. And the story of those guys who wrote the book of the times themselves, they have a name. That community of that or that race has a name. And that name, it means those who existed before the moon came. Number one. Number two, the sun. Why I'm saying it's a projection, because this is not the real sun. What we see as planets in our astrology is not what they look like. And what we see as planets here, yes, we could have a projection so that we get a perception, and it is, when we measure, it is measured maybe outside there. It is those same directions we are saying that we are seeing on our the projection on the sky. When we use those measurements, even outside, wherever it is, however it looks like, it's the same measurements, they could be correct. Because it's like a projection which is in perfect physics, that it is aligned to everything. So the sun, actually, it's the sun, the central sun, that gives life in a solar system. And solar systems receives life from the central sun of the galaxy. And the galaxy receives life from the central sun of the universe. The universe receives life from the central sun of the greater universe. The greater universe receives life from the greater. So this sun is like a connection up to this central sun of our solar system. But
Okay.
because there was something went wrong somewhere. I'm telling you. And there was some we were like pressed, and we stagnated while the solar system was still moving in the same directions of with the different energy. Like we were stagnated in some area, and then as we were liberated, we could not perceive of the energies which we are currently in the area of our solar system, the area which our solar system is. This planet cannot perceive the energies of those energies. That is why the place had to be veiled. And to be veiled, it means that still that life essence from sun has to come through in that dome, or in this dome, or in that veil. So it is projected there inside the dome. How it is projected, I don't know. So this is what happened. This planet was quarantined. It was veiled and it was domed, so that, and actually there is something which is called the crystalline grid, the grid which is a magnetic grid built outside of the earth. Let me tell you one thing. For us humans, we are seeing this, we are seeing this as a dome, as stars, as everything. But the grander truth is because of our physical perception. Energetically, if we were matching those energies of the area which we are in the universe, we could have started perceiving the grid, the crystalline grid, the magnetic grid, because what we see up there is a magnetic grid. There's no sky, there is no planet. It is a magnetic grid, and it is shielding us from higher energies. Even the sun, the energies from the sun, this is not the full sun. If the grid is removed, we are done, because humanity was stagnated. We are late. That's why I tell people get to work on yourself and raise your vibration, because this whole thing, they are just beings releasing energies, and they will accelerate these things according to their own agendas. Energies will be released so that every side is fighting for its own harvest. Light will be intense, energies of light. And guess what? It is those beings of light with their agenda of getting higher harvests. Yeah. So it's going to get crazy. Soon, very soon. It has already started. It's going to get crazy. It's because of the higher energies which are being released. And these guys, they can be impatient too. Even the group today, I was telling people, hey, whoever is just having that key for that button, or whoever hand is on that button of end game, Acsesion release the energies fullest. Whoever is having that button, the day and the time is not known, but it's a being of higher density dimension. They can wake up on the wrong side of the bed and they just decide it is now. That's why you are told to sleep with one eye open, because he will come like a thief. That moment you don't expect. And it will be like this, it will be the same like in the times of Noah. It will be the same. People will be partying, dancing, whining, and this and that, and it shall come like a flash. Out of nowhere, the sun is going to stand still. Out of nowhere, the planet is going to stop still, and dark, and it is going to be veiled. All of it is going to be veiled. It will be like this, like a spark. Darkness, without even a dot of light. You will not be able to see someone standing next to you. And the energies in that darkness will be intense. It will be intense. That time people are supposed to get counted within, because if you still are stuck in physicality and running here and there, seeking where to put light and what, your energies terminate you. That moment, everyone, wherever they are, they stay there until 72 hours are over. And when the sun will come out, it will come out from west to east. And you will be, maybe that time before darkness came, you will be two people walking in the field. When sun came from west, one will be there, one will not be there. This is what all religious scriptures have. They copied them from ancient scriptures, and it will be that. The reason why I said this experiment went wrong, if this place is a globe, there was a manipulation. It was rotating in the clockwise, receiving energies in a clockwise positive way, but manipulated, and then they stopped it and they turned it around to run on a negative cycle. So it has to be stopped. This one is not going to be stopped by God. It is going to be stopped by beings. Not with this or that. These higher beings, people, they have motherships bigger than our planet. Listen to me carefully. Stop limiting your perceptions. What we call highest angelic beings, those who are in charge, like they're going to stop the rotation of the planet. They are beings who have motherships bigger than even our solar system. There are motherships bigger than the galaxies. There are beings who have motherships bigger than the galaxies, operated by consciousness. And this planet will be held still in 3 days of darkness, in the North Pole and in the South Pole. And the grid will be turned, the poles will be reversed, and the rotation changed. When that moment the sun comes, you see we were walking two, one is missing, but you can't even remember, because immediately the magnetic grid is turned. Everything is erased, because all the memories are not stored in our brains. Our memories are stored in the magnetics of the grid, the magnetics of the grid of the planet. That is where they are stored. If this planet is tilted, this moment, if this planet is tilted, this moment, a little bit, tilted a little bit, we are gone back to early Stone Age. We are gone back to Stone Age, because we forget everything. It could be tilted, you holding a mobile phone, but that moment, the memory is erased. You don't know what that is. Then, first of all, you struggle with survival. How am I going to make fire? Everything which was there, the gas cooker, everything, now they stay there. You see these things are You don't know what they are. Now they get to be there until they rot. You become living in forests. So the reason why one person will be taken, one left behind, and no one is going to realize it is because memories will be erased. It will be the new morning. And now the sun rises, what you see the heavens. People, that moment, you see the heavens. And you see the third density planet Earth next to ours. And it is bigger like the sun. And you have the remembrance that I was there sometime. You have all the memories. Those whom you left are those who were not there when the sun came. But you remember that I left somewhere. And I remember I was walking with my brother in that planet. And then I just vanished. In that planet, they call it rapture. Those who are the Russians, they are being raptured. But me, I experienced living them. Not rapturing, that I was with them, and then they didn't match my vibration and the vibration of the planet I am in, and they were no more. That is how it is. It is that, my brother. You have to open, let's just always open up to higher perceptions. You get the understandings of everything. The whole story of rapture is written there, but people do not know how people are going to. They think one will be left or the angels will come. People, it will be like this. When the sun comes from west, immediately everyone, those who are who graduated will have their own experience, and those who are repeating class, they're having their own experience of the rapture. For them, they have experienced, they have forgotten everything. The sun came out, they have forgotten everything. They don't know what is this. They are seeing televisions, they are trying to kick it, like to eat it. They don't know what food is. They are going back to that early Stone Age, the real third density. You forgot everything because of that tilt, that change of the rotation of the planet. You have forgotten, and because you didn't match the vibration of the planet, which was breaking in the mental, which was morphing out from that density. You experience forgetfulness of you forget everything, even what food is. You start picking everything and tasting, and start eating grasses and leaves. You become primates. That is what repeating class means. And those who are graduating, what they experience like the sun came and you left the experience, but they can remember when they left you, and they can see where they left you. They can see the planet. They can see all other planets. Not remembering, but they are beyond time. They see even their future. It's there. That is our future planet. They can see who they are in the future. It is that. Different experiences, they are written in our third density, and we take them just literal like that. We never take time to read what we call the Word of God and contemplate upon it, to know higher truths, grander truths. You read a verse and it is that. Someone asks you and you just tell them, "I said that you'll be, angels will come and this and that." You have to have higher perception. When you are told you're going to repeat class, you have to know what it is. It is simple physics. Stop the planet, change rotation, change the poles, period. Period. And you are primates. Let me tell you, after 2 years, you are primates with hairs all over the body. After 2 years, you start reincarnating over and over again until to the industrial process. And guess what? We come there with our spacecrafts and scare you. Then you call us aliens. We come there, show you magic tricks. Then you call us angels. We come there with the big motherships, teach you grander things, and you start worshiping us because you are primates. Because you are primates. That is what this density is. It is everything. When you're told you're going to repeat class, you'll be that. I'm talking to you right now, but it could be you can come here, come out, and that next moment you'll come to do things to me here. When I didn't accent, I played around, I repeat class, you went ahead, you'll come here, you'll do magic tricks, I will worship you, Kamau, as God. And I will write my own scriptures and the books, and I become the prophet. You inspire me, I write here, I say, hey, people, follow the teachings of Kamau. For his teachings are righteous and clean. This is third density. People, think outside of your box. When you are in this density, think outside of it. Then go just outside of this density. Then see what is this process of this density. What is this? What is all about this density? What is this place? That is the real game. Come out. Kamau, my brother Kamau.
I'm here, brother.
All what I have shared with you guys from the beginning. 80%, no one told me. No one has told me. I've never read it anywhere. 40%, I have known it today. And I stopped there. Sheila, Kamau, Sheila.
I have another question.
Go ahead and ask my brother.
The higher beings in the other densities, do they eat the same food that we eat down here, or they don't operate the way we operate? I mean, are their bodies the same way that ours are set up? Do they do things like reproduce or produce or have sex or things of their nature, or they operate on a different type of system?
Hey, Kamau, my brother. You are just operating on another level. Trust me. The reason why I'm saying you are operating on another level is because you are asking the right questions. This are the questions
Mm-hmm.
which many people never ask. They never ask. And because they never ask, they are being fooled. They are being fooled by what they called scientists because they never seek, they never know. One thing which the reason why we are being fooled that planet Venus, or I don't know which planet, is a planet, is a is a gas giant. It's just gas. Another planet is just explosion, it's just fire. The whole planet is fire. It's because they have made us they have made us to get stuck in the third density reality that no life can exist in the universe without oxygen. No life can exist in the universe without water. All life must be carbon based. Let me tell you one thing. Only humans are we are only humans are carbon based. This one planet only in the galaxy, this planet is the only planet which is carbon based. Others will have carbon, but this one is carbon based. Our body are carbon based. Our earth is carbon based. There are others which are silica based. There are others which are each and every other element which you know. Carbon is one element. All the elements you see, all the elements you see, I told you, everything is life. Everything is life. All elements, carbon, argon, gold, silver, all elements is a form of life somewhere. Gold is a form of life somewhere. Currently, just recently, they were saying that scientists is like they have discovered a planet somewhere. And this planet, from the signals they read from it everything upon it, everything is gold. Even the atmosphere is an atomic gold. Everything is gold. Everything is life. Every element is life. And every element has got life based on it. All higher beings, not all of them have red blood. Others have green substance within them, yellow substances. Not all of them breathe oxygen. Maybe others breathe sulfur dioxide. Yes, maybe others breathe the other gases which you see here as very irritating. Maybe other beings are surviving with that. It is possible, and it is like that because if you are taken right now to another planet, you won't survive. That is the grander truth. You won't survive. Why won't you survive? Because the composition there is different. So life, all other beings are based on other forms of creation, and everything is life, my brother Kamal. Kamal, if you can get me.
Yes, yes, I'm clear. I'm very clear uh, um, with the answer. But you didn't touch on as far as uh, the way they operate. Like for instance, we know how we operate. We reproduce, we have sex, we die, others are born. The type of system we operate down here. Do they operate in different systems, or do they operate in similar systems as us? Brother,
Yes.
you there?
Maker.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah.
Let me tell you one thing. Let
Mm-hmm.
me tell you one thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is the thing. First of all,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
let me talk about sex and reproduction.
Mm-hmm.
There are this thing called sex and reproduction. It exists even in other races, but it is very different because there even a race which is there is even a race which is hermaphrodites, like they are one gender.
Mm-hmm.
There are other races which are two genders, like us.
Mm-hmm.
There are other races which are three genders. There are other
Mm.
races which are four genders. There are
Mm-hmm.
other races which are five genders. They go up to eight genders. How they procreate, I do not know.
Okay.
And all, like if there are four genders, they all must come together. I don't know how they connect together. I
Mm.
do not know. And that to exist, but the higher density, you see, a
Mm-hmm.
higher density, like I can say, like if we go to fourth density, you can experience life of up to maximum maybe 25 million years.
Okay.
25 million years.
Okay. So
When you go
it, it
to when you go to fifth, you go to fifth density stroke sixth density, you can experience up to 75 million years in one lifetime. This one, the same one which you had.
did you get kicked out, Brother Salim? Or is it me?
It's him. Hi, Kamal.
Hey, Queen Dr. Sheila, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. How is everything going on in Kenya?
Easy. I have been meaning to call you. I need to call you.
No.
I'll call you tomorrow. I
Okay.
think we've
Okay.
lost him. I like the way when you're thinking about putting this thing into perspective, it's
Mm-hmm.
just a lot of info
Mm-hmm.
to basically have to think about. Because, like, I was wondering, when you're looking at all that, you're thinking, so the way, Salim, you're back, the way they are operating, they're of more intelligence, they're of a higher level, and all that. And then
Mm-hmm.
when you look at like some of the engagements that they do, when he talks about the positive side and the negative side, I was talking to no, I shared with Salim a clip that was showing of this young man who would sleep and he would wake up in the morning and he would
Mm-hmm.
feel like his whole body is in aches, is having aches, and so he put a video, a camera at night, and it
Mm-hmm.
showed that these entities would come or whatever it is, but it would show the bed sheet moving, and
Mm.
you can actually see this boy like being sexually abused,
Mm.
and not just with one. You could tell like there were maybe two or something. So
Mm.
when you're talking about the place of and trying to understand how they think,
Mm-hmm.
for me, now that
You guys getting
Salim
me?
has, yeah, we can hear you. Now
Mm-hmm.
that Salim has also come back, it
Mm-hmm.
would be it would be great
Are you
to, because
getting
for
me,
now,
guys?
yeah, we can
Yeah,
hear
we
you.
hear
Can you
you. We hear
hear
you,
us?
Salim.
So if we are at that point where when he talks about positive, the positive, there are not of the positive. So it means that those or who are of the positive, and there are those who are of the negative. And where we are coming from is that we are coming from a place where these entities came and they basically